Good morning, reception. I really hope you enjoyed the Dreams of Colour book, and I thought we could do a little art activity together. So in a moment, I'm going to turn my camera around so that you can see what I'm doing. We're going to use the Dreams of Colour book as inspiration, and we are going to create our own beautiful, colourful world on the page. Now for this, I'm going to be using the chalky pastels. So whatever you have available, as long as you can blend those colours together, and I would recommend something like these. So these ones, they look like this for me. So maybe you've just got chalks, you could use paint, anything that you can blend together and kind of get a little bit mucky with as well. So it'll be lots and lots of fun. Now we're going to be looking at this page here and this page here. And we're going to be a bit like Mia today, and we're going to use colour and create a colour explosion on our page. And we're going to use patterns and all sorts, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful at the end. So I'm going to switch my camera around now, and then you can follow along and do it with me. Okay, here we go. So I've got a nice large A3 size piece of paper that I can use. Now, if you haven't got this size, don't worry, you can use smaller, but this size means that I can get quite messy with it. Now, what you might want to do is if you are, especially if you're using paints or chalky pastels like me, you might want to put an apron on ready for this, okay? If you are using paints, you might want to get a grown-up to tape down the edges onto the table so that the paper doesn't go all wrinkly and bumpy. Okay, so looking at this page here, a rainbow of colours filled her space like a magical stream of colourful lace. She twirled and swirled until all was painted. When she finally stopped, she almost fainted. So that's what we're looking for. We want to twirl and swirl. We want to get this huge amount of colour. So just like this, we're going to fill our page up and we're going to use colours and patterns and all sorts. Okay, can you see these lovely patterns that it created in her room? And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with a nice light colour. So I'm going to use a yellow underneath, okay? And I'm going to do exactly like it does in the book. And I'm going to do some beautiful swirls of colour coming out from the middle. Now, the great thing about pastels, especially these chalky ones, that they're really, really good for blending. So now I've got the colour on. I'm going to use my finger. Now, I'm not rubbing it. I'm going along the lines that I did because I want to keep the pattern. Okay? So we're going to do this explosion of yellow coming out from the middle. Now, another really happy colour, because I'm feeling quite happy. It's quite good when you're doing art to use your feelings. Okay, I'm feeling quite happy today. So I'm going to use an orange. I do love an orange, okay? And I'm going to go alongside these yellow swirls. And just on one side. It's making me feel a bit like the sunshine. Okay, so I'm going to do a few coming out this way as well. Oh, that's looking really bright and beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so the same again. I'm going to use my finger and I am just going to blend those colours in. Now, can you see I'm following the lines that I did? I'm not just rubbing my hands all over it, because I want to keep the shape. I want to keep those swirls. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm already thinking about the next colour that I want to use. I like blues. Now, blue is really good because it's a contrasting colour. That means it's an opposite colour to my orange and my yellows, okay? So that's going to really, really stand out. Now, if you're using chalky pastels like me, you might want to just give your piece of paper a little bit of a brush. Okay, a brush off and get all those dusty bits. So now I'm thinking those blues and purples. So I'm going to use a lighter blue here because I don't want it too dark, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start filling in some of these spaces here. Okay, so I'm being a bit more controlled with these bits. I'm just going to fill these bits in. There we go. If you're using paints, you could try using different tools. So for one part of it, you might want to use a paintbrush. You might want to try using sponges. They're really good for getting texture in a different pattern. You might want to try using your fingers. That is really good fun, and you get super mucky on that as well. So there we go. Can you see I've got that lovely blue in there? Now I'm going to use a different finger because this one is already covered with the yellow and the orange. So I don't want to mix those colours together, because if you mix all the colours together, you end up with a murky brown. And I don't want a murky brown. I want to really see those pretty colours coming through, just like in Mia's dream world, where she has all those beautiful colours coming through. Now, can you see where I'm blending my blue and my yellow together, where it's overlapping? It's actually making a green, because blue and yellow together, they make green. I wonder what other colours you'll find you might make as you go along. Now, remember, you don't need to be using the same colours as me. I'm just showing you a way of doing it. You might want to do it slightly different. If you're using paints, as long as you've got a grown-up's permission, you might want to do some splats. Okay, so I'm going to just dust that off. There we go. Now I'm thinking I've got the blues this side. I want some reds and purples on this side over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a zigzaggy effect. Can you see that? I'm going to do another zigzaggy and another one. And I'm using the edge of my pastel to do this. There we go, look at that. Oh, I like my zigzags. So what you can do is just, if you're using the chalky pastels, you can very lightly blend them, but you don't want to do it too much because you want those lines. So what I'm going to do is just more blend the end of them. That's it. So not this start bit. And I'm doing it very, very gently. Okay. Like that. And then I'm going to dust that one off as well. Oh, can you see how mucky and messy this gets? Look at that. So I've got lots of colour, and I'd really like some reds on there now as well. So I'm going to put some red stripes in. So I'm just overlapping the purple, zigzaggy. So I want some stripes in there. Look at that. Lovely, lovely stripes. Oh, and do you know what? I'm liking this red so much. I might put some stripes over here as well. Oh, maybe over here. There we go. Put some sneaky, cheeky stripes in. And over here. Oh, and over here. Oh, look at those colours and patterns. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see your ones. Now I'm looking at Mia's world, and she's got, can you see all these shapes in the background? And she's got stars and swirls and circles and squares. So I want to use some of those. So I'm going to use my green here. And I quite like the idea of a swirl. So I'm going to do a swirl. Oh, look, it looks a bit like a snail shell. So I do a great big swirl in the middle there. Okay, and then I'm going to choose a different colour. I'm going to get my purple, and I'm going to go in between and do another swirl. And I'm layering it up. I'm building it. Okay. Oh, and I feel like it needs a bit of red as well. So I'm going to put a red swirl in there too. Oh my goodness, look at this. How's is yours going? Are you putting any swirls in yours? Okay, and then I'm going to get my whites now. And I'm going to put, I quite like, I don't know if you can see, there's little white stars in the background. So I'm going to put some little white stars on as well. Okay. Now, like I said, if you're doing paints, this might be a good time to do a bit of splatting. There we go. some little white stars. You can't see them very easily on there, but I can see them on my one. And let's have a look. I'm going to use, let's do some yellow stars as well. You might see those ones a bit better. There we go. Putting some yellow stars in between my white stars. And hopefully you can see those ones a bit better. Oh my goodness, look at those. And then what you could do is you could add on some different shapes. Okay, so I'm going to use my blue, well, actually this is my purple, and I'm going to put some triangles on. Quite like triangles. Okay, you might want to do some squares. And you can choose. So this is all about just doing a whole page of colours and patterns. So you can add on what you want. Just be careful that when it starts getting to this point where you've got quite a lot on there, don't do too much because it can get really, really, really busy and then you might lose some of the colours. Okay, so there we go. Just a lovely, fun activity. I'm just going to switch the screen around and I hope you have lots and lots of fun creating a really colourful patterned world just like Mia's dream world. So this here is my one, and then I could add a few more shapes on and things like that. So make sure you share which patterns and which colours you've used and do a lovely picture of your artwork once you've finished it too. I hope you have fun and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.